Hey everyone, it's Brett from Hope to Prosper, and I'm coming to you today from the beach. Man, it's a perfect day, and I forgot to record my intro in Mount Rushmore. So anyways, I'm going to record my intro here, bringing you guys along. I hope you enjoy the Rushmore footage, and today's subject is, what's stopping you from retiring? So let me know in the comments below. Alright, thanks for coming along. So what's stopping you from retiring? If you're like most people, you're short on money, and maybe you don't have enough money to retire, or you don't think you have enough money to retire. And that's a very real concern, because nobody wants to retire and then wind up broke when you have a perfectly good job. That was a problem for me as well. The really great thing is that I thought I was short on money, and then as I looked into it, I actually was in pretty good shape. So if you're making that decision that you don't have enough money to retire, make sure you check into it thoroughly and make sure you actually don't have enough money to retire and not just think you don't. That's what happened to me. So the next thing is, the thing that stopped me was an employee mindset. You know, I really had a mindset of an employee. I was kind of like a servant. And I thought, you know, a lot of my importance in the world was tied to my job and what I gave, and, you know, all of the the skills and the expertise I had. Man, I had a lot of my identity wrapped up into my job. And I can tell you right now, 7 months later, when you leave that job behind, you're not going to look back and say, man, now I'm not important anymore. Now your time becomes important, not your job. Maybe some people think they're too young. You know, I get that. When I was 55 and I was thinking of retiring at 55, I kind of did feel a little too young. And even now when I'm 59, people look at me and like, oh, you retired. Is that code word for you lost your job? Yes, but I actually did retire young, and I enjoy being a young retiree. It's kind of like being a young grandpa. I didn't want to be a grandpa when I was young, and then my brother just told me, oh, no, this is great. You don't want to be the old grandpa. You want to be the young grandpa. I think it's the same with being retired. I think you want to be the young retiree, not the old retiree. You want to be able to hike mountains and travel and do all that stuff, and not be the old gray-haired guy that can barely play golf, or girl. So if you think you're too young, I would suggest you revisit that. Another thing is lacking purpose. You know, a lot of people think that they're going to retire and they're going to sit around the house and they're not going to do anything, and, you know, all the important parts of their life are going to be gone with their job. And boy, that can happen. In fact, I think that happens to a lot of people, but it doesn't have to be that way. There's plenty of purposeful things you could do without a job. I'm traveling and I'm visiting people and I'm doing stuff like that. I'm starting businesses and side hustles and a YouTube channel. I also want to start a nonprofit. Some people like to volunteer. So you can find plenty of purpose. And you can find another thing I wanted to mention is social interaction. Some people, you know, they love the social interaction around work, and they don't want to, leave all their friends and their coworkers and things of that sort. And that's a very real problem, because people who don't have social interaction, or they have, let's call it social isolation, that's very, very bad for you. So if that's one of the things stopping you from retiring, I can tell you for certain, because I've done it now, you find new friends, you find new family, you find new people to hang around with. You'll find your tribe after you leave work, trust me. And you could visit your old friends if you want, but don't be surprised how fast those relationships dry up when you're retired and people are still working. You definitely have to nurture those relationships once you leave work, because you're going to have differences of lifestyle that are, they're very real. And your friends are still going to be really busy at work, while you're going to have all of a sudden a lot more time. So that's a big one. Are you scared? I can admit I was scared when it came to retirement. It's a big leap off a cliff, financially and in many other ways. And I was scared, and I worried a lot. And that's a regret I have. I wish I hadn't worried so much. I wish I had leaped in with a lot more courage and a lot more, and a better plan. Boy, that was talk about regrets. I wish I had a better plan going in. But I was thrust into it, and it didn't just I had no way to plan for it. So finally, are you avoiding change? You know, that's a huge thing for people. Nobody likes change, myself included. But if you're avoiding, avoiding retirement because you're avoiding change, man, I would recommend you reconsider that. The change has been the most positive thing in my life, going from working all day to having all my free time and doing all of my adventures. So it's been a really positive change. So if you're avoiding change, man, please reconsider that and think about what you could do with your new life versus your old one. And if you're sitting on the fence, my final little piece of advice to you is consider your time to be the most precious thing you have, because it is. And think about how much time you have left in your life. If you're like me, 59 years old, and you're rolling up on 60, you really got about 20 good years left if you're lucky. 20 good years. So I wouldn't recommend just sitting at a desk for the next 9 or 8 of those 20 years, depending on whatever your age is. And consider that carefully, that, it might be your time, and it might be your time to do something new and fun and exciting with your life and retire early. All right, that's all for now. That's all I have for you. Thank you for coming along on my little adventure. I hope you enjoyed the Mount Rushmore footage. Man, we had a blast on that. We had a blast. So thank you all for liking and subscribing to my channel. Thank you for following along and your comments. I really appreciate them and enjoy them. And I wish you all health, happiness, and prosperity in your lives. All right, we'll see you next week.